in Mpumalanga with 50-kilometer winds around me. So I'm actually going to turn my mic off. Hopefully that makes the connectivity better. I'll turn my mic on at the end. My video, not my mic. That will just be ridiculous. So we can have a chat later. Let me just switch this off. Right. Okay. So as I said, thanks very much for joining us. And I'd like to just talk about the things that we are doing through the GSSA Meetings Committee. So a lot of you would have picked up on my play on words, and these words have been running through my mind right from the beginning of the corona pandemic. And, you know, sometimes it's just like you can't get the words out of your mind. But I do think that the GSSA will come through this, will come out to the other side stronger and more resilient. So those of you who attended both or one of Sifiso Sewello's talks, Sifiso is obviously the GSSA president, will recognize this slide. The GSSA is managed by Sifiso and Council, and Council is divided into 8 portfolios, as you can see there, each with a committee and overseen by a VP. So what does the meeting subcommittee do? Oops, sorry about that. We aim to stimulate the study of earth scientists and to look after the interests of earth scientists by providing forums and events where they can meet and share ideas on advances in science, new geological models, as well as emerging technology. We also have a specific division, the Directorate of Professional Programs, which organizes specialist courses for members as well as for our non-members. And then the REI Fund, which is Research, Education and Investment, is a pool of research funds managed by the GSSA. And the meetings portfolio puts together a colloquium regularly for the recipients to share their research. Most of these events qualify for CPD points. So towards the end of last year, we put together our meetings for 2020, BC standing for Before Corona. And as you can see, it was quite a full agenda. We were very pleased with it. We managed to squeeze in Colin Rice's drilling methods in February, and then we got hit by Corona. So the way we decided on the events that we were going to have is things that are topical, as well as things that we think would benefit our members. So you'll see here that the DPP events include the drilling methods, the 3D geological modeling, the advanced structural logging, and the CPD workshops, SAMESC and SAM codes. Some of the events, like the geoskills, the structural field trip, and of course the REI colloquium, target students as well as graduates. And as you know, traditionally our meetings are held at venues, generally around Joburg, although we did have 3 regional events planned for 2020. But even before the pandemic, the meetings committee realized that we needed to move with the times and started looking around for appropriate platforms to host webinars. We also joined forces with Colin, who has been presenting the Drilling for Geologists course for the GSSA since 1993. And Colin has developed some great online training courses, which will now be available to the GSSA members, some of them, not all of them. Then along came the coronavirus. And as you can see, quite early on in March, we made the call to postpone our planned events, the events planned till mid-year, and some like the Geo Congress, we actually postponed till 2021. And then there was lockdown. We're actually quite proud of the fact that within 2 days of lockdown, we had lined up some phenomenal speakers from within the GSSA family and started our lockdown lunchtime specials. But it wasn't long before we had included non-GSSA speakers from all over Africa, UK, Russia, Australia, and Canada. To date, we've had 29 talks with 1,927 people registered for these talks. We're going to continue them, as you'll see on this calendar. And we've already got talks lined up till the end of June. We also record all these talks, and they're available for you to view at your leisure on our YouTube channel. This reset time has also given us time to collaborate with societies from neighboring countries, as well as with the Geological Society of Africa and groups like the Overberg Geoscientists and Wits Schools of Geosciences. So we can all benefit from what each group is doing. So with all this experience that we've gained with our free online talks, we thought, why not migrate our traditional events to the comfort of people's homes? Admittedly, we're going to miss the benefits of the physical meetings, like the interaction of speakers and audience, and the networking over a beer or two. But I really do think that most of us have got so used to meetings and family chats online now that we're quite comfortable interacting via video and mic. And nothing stops us from having a cyber beer. The benefits, of course, are that we can source speakers from anywhere, as long as they're awake, giving our members a wider pool of experience. Our delegates don't actually have the cost of travel and accommodation, and they don't need to spend time away from work. So those are all bonuses. This is what our calendar for 2020, or after Corona, looks like. All these talks are planned to be online, except I'm really still holding out for Technology Day and African Exploration Showcase, where I'm hoping we can do this as a hybrid online physical event where we beam speakers from all over Africa to a central conference room, as well as to members sitting everywhere else in Africa. So that was very brief. If you have any questions, I'm obviously going to be available, but I'm going to hand over to Colin, who has, as I've said, we've been collaborating with Colin with his online drilling course. So for you that don't know Colin Rice, he has been actively involved in many aspects of Southern Africa drilling industry since moving to South Africa from Zimbabwe in 1984. He was a founder and partner. In fact, you know what? I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can get Colin to share. He was the managing director of, he was the founding partner in SA Mud Services, which later became SAMChem, which is actually the company I now work for. He was managing director of professional diamond drilling equipment for 11 years when the company was acquired by Atlas Copco. In 1995, Colin and his business partner launched Borehole Survey and imported the first electronic borehole survey tools into the country. Colin's always had a keen interest in improving the level of understanding of drilling principles through training. He was responsible for setting up the National Diploma drilling practice course at Technikon SA. He has been delivering drilling and exploration related courses at a number of institutions and in a number of other South African countries for the past 20 years. Colin was also a member of the steering committee of the Pilot Carbon Storage Project, part of a joint World Bank and SANEDI project. And more recently, Colin was a member of the working group that designed the newly registered QCTO driller qualifications. Something else that's really important about what Colin is doing is in 2017, he relaunched DrillSafe, the Southern African Drilling Industry Safety Forum. And with that, I'll hand over to Colin. Thanks, Colin.
Thank you. Thanks, Noleen. Thanks very much indeed. Can everyone see my screen?
I can, yes.
Cool. Then I guess everybody else can. Thank you, Noleen, and thank you, Craig, and thank you, Safisa, for the opportunity to chat today. We're very, very chuffed to have this opportunity. What you want to have a chat about today, just very briefly, just give people who don't know us too well, just give you a little bit of a background as to who we are, where we come from, and what we do. And then I'd like to talk about this really, really, really exciting partnership that we're going to go into with the GSSA around one of the online programs that we've developed. Just very briefly, Noleen outlined a little bit of where I come from. Erin and I basically established Colin Rice Exploration and Training, a number of years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago. And our business has evolved into basically four legs, four parts. And the one is our training. We do lots and lots and lots of training courses for various organizations. And as I'll explain shortly, we launched our online training programs in 2018, I beg your pardon. We do a lot of consulting work, both around a lot of tendering development work for mining companies, and probably the most exciting part of our business in the last 7 or 8 years has been the development of our safety auditing business. We've been very active in developing safety standards in the drilling industry and developing safety management systems with mining companies and drilling contractors. And that's led to something that we're extremely proud of, is Drill Safe. Many of you would have come across Drill Safe through courses we've done or through other interactions. It's a website dedicated entirely to the improvement of safety performance on drill sites. I won't spend too much longer telling you about Drill Safe, but please go and Google it. It's www.drillsafe.co.za. It's a unique website, a fantastic website full of useful information. So please go and have a squiz at that. As Noleen mentioned, I'm very, very lucky. I've been involved with the GSSA since 1993. It could have actually been earlier, but the oldest set of notes that I could find, it goes back to 1993. And in those days, we used to do a one-day course called An Introduction to Drilling. That course then evolved over the years. There was a demand for greater and greater diamond drilling components to it. And so in 1998, we added a second course to the GSSA suite of courses, and we called that Advanced Diamond Drilling. That all then kind of morphed and evolved into what I call the combined courses, and what we've been running now for the GSSA since about 2007 is what's now currently called our Drilling Methods course, or more correctly, Drilling Methods and Techniques in Resource Delineation. And that's kind of where that whole thing developed. I tried to pull out some stats. I don't have all the stats, but it'd be wonderful to pull out the stats and see how many people the GSSA has actually interacted with. I would, in the slide here, I've said hundreds. I would suggest we might be even close to 1,000 people who've been through these drilling courses over the year. I was flying to the Northern Cape about 2 years ago, and a lady sitting next to me in the plane pulled out an attendance list from the course she attended. It just happened to be in her briefcase. So we had 125 people at Glenhove back at that time. So we've had this really interesting development of these programs over the years. Sorry, there we go. It is advancing. The online certificate program, over the years, we've done many training programs in lots of different countries. And the truth of the matter is I'm getting too old to travel all around the place, and we have so much demand from out of the country. In 2017, Erin and I decided to convert a lot of the training programs onto an online platform. We did a huge amount of research and came up with a learner management system that worked for us, and we developed these programs. Anybody who's done this before will know it's incredibly difficult. It is hugely time consuming, and it was a lot more difficult than we thought it would be. So we did that, and basically in 2018, we launched the first of them. And in fact, the program, the first geologist, we called it Drilling for Geologists. That first program was actually launched in Guinea. It was a program we wrote for 20 French-speaking geologists in Guinea. So that in itself was a challenge, but it proved to be very successful, and we learned a lot of really good lessons from it. And then over the time, in the last couple of years, basically last year, we really put the finishing touches to this whole concept that we now are running. And we developed, rather than looking at writing training courses, we focused on roles in the drilling industry, in the exploration industry. And obviously the geologist was the first and most important. So we focused and we looked at what skills the geologist needs. And I'll talk about that in a minute or so. And so we created what we call our Drilling Skills for Geologists program. And it's, I believe, a fantastically well-rounded program. Then we looked at the supervisor, the drilling supervisor. He's the person that the geo interacts with on a drill site. And supervisors in this country are not trained. Nowhere in the world are they trained. And so we developed an exploration supervisor program. It's been incredibly successful. We've had guys from all over the world on it. We've currently got guys in Canada, in the United States, and most certainly in a number of countries in Africa as well. And then the third role we looked at was a safety officer. And we developed the Exploration Safety Officer program. That too has been very successful. We've had many, many guys moving through that program. Then we tagged on two others that were becoming really important in the industry. And the one was what we call a drill rig inspector certificate. And the other was a directional drilling certificate. Directional drilling is becoming a very important part of exploration. And so we tagged it on. So it's effectively, our certificate program consists of 5 separate certificates. And I'll show you just now how they kind of all merge and meld together. For several years now, for at least 2 years, Craig and Sifiso and Noleen and I and Aaron have been chatting about trying to get our Drilling Skills for Geologists program endorsed by the GSSA. We might look like we're clever, we're not. We developed online programs not in anticipation of coronavirus. We just happened to have done it before anybody else. So we've been through a little bit of a learning curve, and I think the opportunity now to add it to the suite of courses that the GSSA present is very, very timely. So we really, really, really are very proud that the GSSA have endorsed this program. We have an agreement with the GSSA in terms of the structure of the costs and so on. And we really are looking forward to really good growth in the program as it goes on. Very quickly, the target audience for this particular program, the GSSA at this point in time, we've only made an agreement on the one certificate program, the Drilling Skills for Geos. So our target audience are geologists, and it's important. It's a very detailed program. I'll show you in a minute what it's composed of. It's a very detailed program, and it requires that the candidate has some level of exposure and experience in a drilling operation. The courses are very practical. We try to teach the guys how to manage a drilling operation. So it's not a theoretical course. I mean, obviously it's an online course, but we try to make it as practical as possible. It's entirely online. There's no contact base to it at all. And the big question everybody asks us is, how long does it take? We always say 6 to 8 months. Some guys, the shortest anybody's done it is about 6 months, and the longest is about 12 or 13. We have introduced into our conditions that it can't be more than 12 months. And the reason for that is that we incur our registration costs for the learner management system are US dollar based, and they're expensive. So we like to get guys through the program within 12 months, or else we incur fairly substantial additional cost. Very quickly, I just want to show you how we've developed, the thought that's gone into it. As I said earlier, I'm the luckiest guy in the drilling industry because I've been working with geos since 1984. From a mud point of view, from a drilling equipment point of view, from a survey point of view, and lately is from a consulting point of view. And I believe that we've developed this program around what I believe the objective of an exploration project is. And I believe that the objective of an exploration project is to obtain a representative sample of as high a quality as possible, safely and efficiently. And so this Drilling Skills for Geologists course focuses on those three key aspects: quality, safety, and efficiency. And when you look at the structure of the course, you can see how we've built it. So the Drilling Skills for Geologists curriculum, the program, is made up of 9 separate courses. Each of these, it's not a module, these are courses. They are long. The legal aspects of exploration drilling is an incredibly detailed and long program, very, very long and very detailed. So we've got, I won't go through the theory, you can see it for yourselves. There is the technical aspects, the things that will talk about quality. There's the obvious safety aspects to it. And then the economic aspects, of course, we try to give the guys an appreciation for how a contractor makes money. One of the biggest problems I come across, or one of the things that I think causes most problems in a drill site, is a lack of understanding, a lack of mutual understanding of what the role of the geo is and what the role of the contractor is. And it's very important that a geo has a good understanding of how a contractor runs his business and makes money. So I believe, based on the experience I've had, I believe this is a really good, well-balanced program. And you can see the kind of spread of skills that we try to develop there. I'm going to ask Erin to take over now and just talk about the administrative side, if you like, or the sort of non-technical parts of this. And then afterwards, if there's any questions, we can ask a few questions. Craig or Noleen or Sifiso, can you unmute Erin? And then there's no need to make her a co-host. I'll just flick through the slides once she needs them to be flicked through.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks so much.
What I think, sorry, Erin, Craig, can you co-host me and then make Erin a co-host then, please?
Okay, I'll start talking through.
I think that's great, Erin. Sifiso, there's not many. There's only a few slides. I think there's only 3. So there's probably no need to do that. If Erin just
okay, cool.
I'll flick through the slides as we need to.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Erin.
Great, thanks so much. So yeah, I'm just going to chat about the program structure, and as Colin mentioned, made up of the 9 courses, which we've further broken down into smaller, manageable chunks. And essentially the coursework is really made up of the technical information and the learning resources. There's videos and additional resources that sort of range from some light extra reading to tools and tables that you can take out and actually use and apply in the field. Once you are sort of done with the course, there are assessments. So there are self-assessments throughout the courses, and these are generally electronically assessed knowledge checkpoints. And then after each course, there is a course assessment. And this is where you would need to go onto the site and actually apply what you've learned to either a current or past drilling operation, which is where the experience sort of comes in. Once you've sort of completed the course assessment, and you're then able to move on to the next course. So that's sort of how the program works online. And then once you've completed all 9 of the courses and passed the associated assessments, you'll receive a certificate of completion, which is now endorsed by the GSSA, as well as a brief program transcript that we provide you with, just so that you can take that into the workplace and for future reference. And then, of course, you can always use the time spent on this program towards CPD points, and perhaps you just chat to the relevant person in the GSSA about that. Cool. Can we go next slide, please? Thanks. Then just in terms of additional support, we recognize that learning online can sometimes be quite lonely. We don't always have that interaction. So we have put some extra support in place. We recently started a LinkedIn group, which is just a space to stay connected, ask questions, and share experiences. So anyone that's completed an online certificate is joining it, and it's a great forum that's growing and a great place for support. We also recently held some webinars covering relevant drill site safety topics, and we're adding these recordings as course resources as well. We also have discussion forums within the online program, and we do virtual Q&A sessions from time to time as well. And there's also email support. Great. Then just in terms of the details, you've got the cost there on the screen. And then, although we're partnering with the GSSA, Colin Rice Exploration will still do all of the administration and registration. So if you need any further information or you'd like to register, then you just pop to our website. All of the details are there. The registration forms are there as well. So that's really easy. Can you pop to the next slide? Great. And then this is just a sort of overall look at how our suite of 17 courses sort of fit into the certificate programs that Colin mentioned earlier, and how they all kind of fit and meld together. So again, if you need any additional information, you're most welcome to go to our website. It's all on there, or pop us a mail. Great.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Erin. Thanks for putting it in. What I'd like to, if I may, just quickly, just go back to this slide, because this, I think, helps you guys maybe to understand how we've put this together and how we've structured our certificate program. But over the years, over all the years I've been working in the industry, I've written 17 different training programs, which we've delivered on a sort of face-to-face contact basis over the years. All of these have now been converted into an online learning structure. And so you can very clearly see that the certificates are made up of combinations of these different courses. And the beauty of this, I believe, is that if you take, for example, if somebody who does the Drilling Skills for Geologists program will do those first 9 courses, if they then do the Drilling Engineering course, select either or both the dual tube reverse circulation and diamond core drilling courses, and then the practical hazard identification course, they would then qualify for the exploration supervisor certificate. Now, you might ask, why would you want to do that? But you may want to, because the more a geologist knows about drilling, the better he will be in the field. So we've built it up so that it's almost like a modular, and you can then just add further programs to your little curriculum as you progress. The time estimates down the bottom are very, very rough. Kind of rough estimates of the time commitment you would need in order to complete it. Now, being a little bit, maybe a little bit tight, I think that the course will take a little bit longer than I've indicated on there, even if you do spend a lot of time on them. But it gives you at least some kind of indication of how long it should take. So guys, thank you very much for joining us and listening to us. And we really look forward to a very good and close collaboration with the GSSA as this whole program unfolds and develops. And thank you, Craig and Safisha, Noleen, for having us today. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to a really good and long and fruitful relationship. I don't know if anybody's got any questions or comments they might want to make.
There seem to be a couple. Let's unmute your microphone and fire away.
Hi, Colin. Sandal here from South 32. Can you hear me?
I've got you, Sandal.
All right. Colin, one of the challenges we experience in the mining industry is the certification and competency of the drilling contractor and the operators. Are you aware of any body, certification or accreditation body for the drilling industry that, if they issue a certificate that could serve in terms of the HSEC procedures and requirements and documentation?
Sundal, that's a fantastically good question, and I will give you the very, very brief answer. No, there isn't. To address that, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe a bit more, I started an organization called DICASA, and effectively it was an industry body. It was an association of drilling contractors and manufacturers, and we put together an assessment framework where we would assess operational staff, drillers and drill rig assistants on site. And then we issued them a certificate. Some mining companies accepted it, some didn't. And some mining companies, I mean, you can't be kind about this, were what they would accept as a certificate of competence bordered on criminal negligence. You know, if you produced a certificate that said the guy can breathe and he had 2 arms, then they would allow him onto a drill site. Ours was a very rigorous system, but it kind of fell into disuse. We do, through our company, we have an assessment framework. We have an assessment structure that we use for drillers and drill rig assistants. We always tend to talk about drillers, but the drill rig assistant is even more critically important on the drill site. And then the supervisor. So we have an assessment structure for the 3 of them. It's not a sort of nationally recognized thing, but it's one that's based on our industry experience and what we've learned over the years. It's not the answer you wanted, but unfortunately there isn't the kind of right answer that you want. I don't know if that answers your question. Okay.
I think that remains our challenge, Colin. Thanks.
Yeah, it does. And you know, the simple way, every single mining company in South Africa is in the same situation. I've tried really hard to get them together to try and get something that they will all accept, but it's not been easy. Maybe you can be the catalyst, Sandal. Let's have a conversation and see if we can try and get something going. I promise you it's easy. The work has been done. It's very simple to do. It's a case of implementing it.
Colin, will this course apply to water drilling as well?
Craig, no, for my sins, I am the president of the Borehole Water Association, and we are looking at doing something very similar. There's such demand for water well drilling training at the moment. In fact, there always has been. This course, no, it is not aimed at water well drilling guys. It's not aimed at water well drillers, but we cover the technology necessary to drill a water well, not to equip a water well, but to drill a water well. But no, it would need quite a bit of work to get it suitable for a water well drilling operation, if that makes sense.
Are there any other questions or comments? Now is a good time to interact.
Like, if I could jump in here, and this is a reply to John. Here is the events that we're planning for the rest of the year. Some of the dates might change because those were the ones that we had planned for our physical events, but that's pretty much what we're planning for the rest of the year. As I said, most of those are going to be online. Some of the events, like the GeoSkills course, which is third from the top, actually, there we go, that one, we're going to do in 4 half-day sessions. I do see that one of the speakers for the Bushveld PGE Day is online, so welcome, Hugo. Looking forward to listening to you. I also see that Murray Hitzman is here. Murray gave a fantastic talk on Irish geology a little while ago. So if you have any questions on the events, or if you'd like to join them or register for them, you can go to the calendar. It's over there as well as in the comments. Are there any questions about the GSSA events for 2020? No?
Are there any suggestions for what might be needed that we should be targeting?
Okay.
Noleen, would you like to close the meeting?
Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. And we have a talk on Monday at 1 o'clock. So hopefully we see you there. And the talk is Dr. Hayley Cawthra. She's on Monday at 1 o'clock. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you next week. I'm going to close the meeting now.
Thanks, Noleen.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks, Noleen. Ciao.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Craig, you actually have to close the meeting.
Okay, there's a few final chats coming in.
Okay,
So thanks, everybody.
great. Thanks, Pedro and Duncan, for your comments.
I see Duncan made a comment there, Craig. I should have mentioned it. Duncan is the first candidate under our new agreement. So,
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Duncan actually registered the other day, and so it'll be wonderful. It'll be great to have. I'm looking forward to interacting with him, with what he's doing, with the work that he's doing. So it'll be great. It'll be fantastic. So there's one under the belt there. So let's we'll continue to do the sort of publicizing that we do. Erin is doing a great job with that, and let's see where we go. Hey.
Okay, that sounds very good.
Sorry, before you close, you just reminded me, Colin, do you want to just stay on the line yourself, Erin and yourself? Just you wanted to address something, but then participants started coming on. Do you just want to stay on for a few minutes?
No, Safita, all it was that I wanted, I didn't explain it clearly. I just wanted Erin to be able to do some of the presentation. So no, it's all
Oh, is that what it was about? Yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah. I thought it was some admin. Okay, that's cool. Sounds good.
No.
Okay, bye, everybody.
All cool. Cheers, Noleen. Take care.
Cheers. Cheers all.
Thanks, Safiso.
Cheers.
Good to see you again. Have a great weekend, eh?
Take care, young man. Cheers.
Bye-bye.